My name is Arthur Hale, and I am 95 years old. At this point in life, I have lost nearly everything I once feared losing. Friends, strength, time, even the people who once made my house feel alive. When you reach this age, life stops feeling like a long road ahead. It starts to feel more like you're riding inside a truck with failing brakes, rolling faster and faster toward a cliff you can already see. You know the edge is coming. And before I reach it, before the road finally runs out, there is something I need to say. I need to tell you about the greatest mistake of my life. Because when it comes to time, every single one of us is poorer than we think. Most people don't truly live their lives. They delay them. You walk around believing you're the main character in a movie that has endless scenes ahead. You assume your account of days is unlimited. You think tomorrow will always show up like it always has. But life doesn't warn you when the balance starts running out. One day you blink. Suddenly you're 95 years old. The keys in your hand feel heavier. The stairs feel taller. Your memories become clearer than your future. And then you realize something unsettling. All the things you spent decades collecting, houses, cars, tools, trophies, boxes of possessions, one day someone else will sort through them. After you die, your children will call a stranger to empty your life into cardboard boxes and trash bags. I know this because I have seen it happen. And for a long time, I lived the same lie most people live. When I was young, I believed time was endless. I treated life like a credit card with no limit. I'll do it later. I'll travel after retirement. I'll slow down someday. Just, it's not right now. But time doesn't work like that. One day you wake up and realize the account you thought was infinite is already running low. The promotions you chased, the overtime you worked, the objects you filled your home with, none of them are what remain in your mind when the years grow quiet. At the end, only a few questions matter. Who did I love? Who was beside me? And who wasn't I there for? Let me tell you about my closest friend. His name was Michael. Michael and I met in 1954, standing shoulder to shoulder on the assembly line of a car factory. We were both 22 years old, recently out of the army, strong, hopeful, convinced the future belonged to us. We didn't just become co-workers, we became brothers. For 7 years, every Friday night, we sat at a small place called Murphy's Bar on 8th Street. Cheap beer, loud laughter, dreams bigger than our paychecks. We talked about the future like it was already guaranteed. Our plan sounded responsible. Work hard until 65, collect our pensions, then finally start living. Our dream was simple. A small wooden cabin in Montana. Quiet mornings. Fishing during the day. Cards at night. No alarm clocks. No supervisors shouting across factory floors. Just peace. 7 more years, Arthur, Michael used to say, raising his glass. 7 more years and we're free. And I'd laugh and answer, we're almost there, brother. We even picked the exact place. Pine Creek, Montana, Mountain View. A small river running behind the cabin. We tore the page out of a magazine and pinned it to the wall of our garages. But there was one thing we never planned for. Time doesn't wait for your plans to be convenient. Michael turned 64 years old on March 15, 1996. Just 1 year before retirement, 1 year before Montana, 1 year before later. A week later, he stepped outside to take the trash to the curb. He collapsed in the driveway, a brain hemorrhage. He died before the ambulance arrived. I spoke at his funeral. And when I looked at my best friend of 42 years lying there in a suit he had never worn before, something inside me cracked open. Michael never saw Montana. He never woke up beside that river. He never cast a single fishing line. He died 1 year before later. For 43 years, we had planned a life we would start someday. But when you do the math, it becomes brutal. Michael spent nearly 90,000 hours standing on concrete floors, tightening bolts on cars he would never drive. More time working than living. More time planning than experiencing. And for what? A future that never arrived. After the funeral, I helped his wife Dorothy clean out the garage. That magazine page was still hanging there. Pine Creek, Montana. The paper had faded, but the dream was still bright. Dorothy placed her hand on my shoulder and quietly said something that has stayed with me ever since. He talked about that cabin every day for 42 years. Then she paused. But Arthur. He never once suggested we visit it. Not even for a weekend, he always said. After retirement, standing there holding that page, I finally understood something terrible. We hadn't been planning our future. We had held our present hostage. Here's a truth people avoid talking about. The average retirement age is 65. Average life expectancy, about 76. If everything goes perfectly, you might get 10 or 11 healthy years. Michael didn't get even that. And I realized something else. I had over 15,000 days with that man. 15,000 chances to say, let's just go see Montana. 3 days, 1 road trip. $500. But we didn't go. Because we believed the same lie. That time could be saved for later. But time isn't money. Money waits in a bank account. Time melts. Like ice in warm hands. And every second you hesitate, a little more disappears. After Michael died, I finally stopped waiting. I retired. I bought the cabin. I lived there for 3 years. Every morning I fished in that river. The mountains were beautiful, but the silence felt heavy. Because the man who dreamed of that place with me was never there. I'm not telling you this to make you sad. I'm telling you this because these might be the last honest words of a man standing near the end of his road. People believe waiting is responsible. They say, I'll enjoy life later. I'll travel when things calm down. I'll spend time with family after this project. I hear it from my grandson James, who is 34. He says the company needs him. He says he'll slow down someday. But I've heard that song before. Michael sang it for 43 years, and I sang along with him. Let me tell you what retirement actually feels like. At 65, your knees begin arguing with you. At 70, your eyesight changes. At 75, walking half a mile feels like climbing a hill. At 80, even simple chores become work. Your body doesn't ask if you're ready to age. It simply begins. Even if Michael had reached Montana, it wouldn't have felt the same. The man you are at 30 is not the man you are at 70. Different strength, different energy, different world around you. When you postpone life for retirement, you are making a gamble. And gamblers often lose. After losing Michael, I tried to change. I called old friends. Some of them were already gone. I visited my sister more often. I took my grandson fishing, even when I felt tired, because what if I couldn't do it next year? But the regret still lingers, because I learned the lesson too late. So listen carefully. Don't wait for retirement. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait for someday. Ask yourself one simple question. What if you die 1 year before your dream begins, like Michael did? And he wasn't careless. He was simply human. Just like you, if you remember anything from this old man talking, remember this. Call the person you love. Take the trip. Spend the afternoon. Create the memory. Because the only thing worse than dying with unfinished dreams is realizing you had the time to live them and chose to wait. And if these words made you uncomfortable, good. That means the truth reached you. Just don't close this and go back to postponing your life. Because one day you'll blink and suddenly discover you've run out of tomorrows.